Hello, welcome to Ignite Your Soul, Merging Two Worlds. Not really sure who this message is for. Whoever, as always, no gender base, your dominant energy, being feminine. I believe this message would be for you. So, if you're in masculine form and your dominant energy is feminine, then that's for you too. And it's timeless, as you know. So I was going to do this video earlier and something stopped me. And I needed to pause and reflect and set my intention so I can be really clear headed. Because I too have feelings and I've been going through some tough things lately. A loss. So I think this video is going to be around um, loss, how to deal with loss, how to process our emotions. Um, which I'm still working on, and I'm pretty good at it. Been doing it for years. Um, this is a different kind of loss, I guess. Um, so I lost my niece of 37 years. I'm not going to get into detail. However, a loss is a loss. And why it's directed, I feel, towards the feminine collective energy is also a personal experience of my own um, that I escaped from. Okay. So I don't want her 37 years of life, um, even the challenges, to be in vain. And as you all know, I turn pain into purpose, and it's my passion. Um, but if her story can reach you and save one life um, from going down a very dark path, uh, the reason I'm going to take my time with this. The reason that I am so self-focused in reflection and how I respond, react, um, not just to the world in general, uh, but in my own life, in my own relationships, even with the relationship with myself. Very important. Um, I tried everything. I held compassion. I held onto my faith. I didn't lose hope. And there was moments in her life that um, she did turn stuff around and then went right back. And I'm not posting this for anybody to judge her. Um, if you do, it's really about you. And I'm really trying to be in a vulnerable state right now, and with also a processing. I can't even talk. My own emotions about her loss and the loss that the whole family is experiencing, because it really is a great loss. A beautiful young woman carrying trauma. And personally, um, it's a very deep trauma. We've had many talks, and she didn't know how to process loss of her friends, of relationships, and so on and so forth. So the message here is that she didn't get that opportunity. I'm not going to look at it as a loss. I'm going to look at it as she ascended and she was a healer and she brought us all um, so much love, so much attitude, for sure. um, she was just beautiful. However, for any woman that is very dismissive and seeking validation or attention or love, okay, in all the wrong places, spaces, you name it. And you will know because, well, you might not know. Here's the thing: intimacy is something that you would have been taught by your father, okay? And this ain't pointing the finger at a father or mother or none of that. We all know we have a choice um, when it comes to love and who we allow and give our hearts to. Not everybody has a choice or believe they have the choice. But bringing this perspective shift, me personally, took many times of really trying to understand what love was. And I know I got videos and I say, well, love is all there is. Well, there is, but there's the unhealed version that's not really intimacy or unconditional love. There's conditions. Okay. This is the false kind of love um, when there's conditions. And that's what most women are taught if they do not have the father figure to teach them what true love and intimacy is from another man. Okay. So, been there, done that, and watching her seek, and she had all the love. Like I said, I held love, I held compassion. We had conversations on how to deal with trauma and um, relationship issues and whatnot. I'm not going to mention everything, but it was a very hard thing to watch because she's so beautiful, so young. She had children, and I know she loved her children, and that was a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, you know, and that was a lot of the trauma that we talked about and she held on to and didn't know how to bring herself back from. So when you don't feel like you can come back from all this, what we tend to do is go down darker, darker, and darker. We descend and we continue to descend instead of ascend, and instead of reaching out, getting help. And I'm not saying she didn't reach out. Okay. I had issues with that too. I'm like, no, there ain't no one out there I can talk to about this. It's not gonna work. So dealing with it yourself um, can get really heavy, and it feels like this huge burden, and you carry so much guilt and shame and blame because you couldn't help somebody, right? Or whatever the loss you might be dealing with. But it's still, we're talking relationships in this case. Most women will be submissive to anything that will focus on her and see her outer beauty. Um, Really, they want to hide what's inside. Okay. They want to hide what's really going on inside. So they will do whatever it takes to be validated, to just say, someone else say that I love you, even if it didn't really ring true. Them are the hidden shadow aspects that were undealt with in this case. So, for all women, that's your dominant energy. And there is many different cases. It's not just it's life forces in general, like not knowing how to deal with life in general. Like it can be really hard if you're a single mom, or and you have a child that lost another parent. I mean, that can be really hard, and it's a lot to carry by yourself. So if we don't reach out for help, if we don't learn how to process um, your emotions and become emotionally stable, we can't even help our children. That's the point. So a lot of that, you know, really the true self is always revealing outside of you. It's your teacher. Okay. People want to call it narcissistic relationships. I believe everybody has a little bit of that in them until they realize, like, you know, I don't want to be like that. That's not me, and you take your power back from that. Um, it's a very valuable lesson. I don't want to talk about numbers, but 333. um, so when somebody can't process their emotions, and let's say they're addicted to sex, they start this addictive behavior, not only the way they think, act, and respond in the world, but they're mentally unstable. Okay. There is a mental health issue when you have to reach for something outside of you to fill the void inside that you don't know how to balance. Excuse me. Um, so the message here is for you. Um, there's an aspect of you. You have many aspects of you, okay, that want to be validated, that want to be heard, seen, Um, and you are the one that's going to have to do that. Because, like I said, I was there. And I'm really damn good at what I do. And I couldn't even help. And I've been that way. Not, no, I have. Actually, she helped me, to be honest with you. She helped me when I was at a low point in my life and I was in that dark stage, descending until I realized I didn't want to descend. I want to ascend. I want to I want to be a light for someone else that has experienced um, something of the same value. And honestly, I learned a lot about, because I'm a medium and I build the bridge between spirit and the physical because we're one, we're not separate. So I also learned that life and death are not separate. We're here in a temporary space, creating unconsciously from our wounds, our childhood wounds, and we call them whatever you want to call them. They're wounds, whether they're healing the divine feminine mother wound or the father, the absent parent, the abandonment wound. Um, it's very painful. And I don't like to talk about that part because I'm already experiencing the new the new life, the new me. I'm completely the same person, only a different version of that. It doesn't mean them aspects of me, of my shadow, is not present. It's always present. I choose the light. I choose love. I choose truth. But my love, or my light, my love, my truth is not yours. It's completely different. Each experience is different, one from the other. But here's what you don't know is the only challenge you had to come here and have this human experience was to defeat your own mind. Defeat your own mind, your own ego that will try to keep you safe. Like before I did this video, I had to I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I was going to cancel it. And I thought, no, that's just my ego trying to keep me safe, say I'm not ready, but I'm ready. I'm always ready. I was born ready. Because every challenge that I've ever had in my life, I do not regret. Every relationship that you want to call it failed, I don't regret that either. It taught me more about who I could become versus descending and going down the darker path. So I know I've seen all my life, and one gift that God gave all women was to love unconditionally. And that really it really can become a burden, a heavy burden, because you don't have the discernment. You're still seeking to find that one. The truth in relationships, it begins with you. Not only is the universe mental, okay, and that's why this is the only thing you were here to defeat, was your own mind. What you didn't know is you were going to come in this incarnation as a soul. You came in human experience in form. We didn't know is you were God in action, and that He was the one. God, universe, Jesus, whatever you call it. Does not matter what you call it. You are that. So you gave your power away. You were submissive in relationships that were there to teach you not to settle, not to fucking surrender. That you are worthy of more, of better, of the best, right? Unfortunately, she didn't get that chance. And I don't want her still processing. Um, I don't want her story as a healer to not be heard, because God chose her to leave at this time, this way, to bring awareness to you and me. The awareness for myself was that you can't save everyone. Okay, it's an inner job. Nobody can save you. Now, when I tell you you're God in action, how will you decide to make your next decision when you're faced in adversity? Right? It's not someone outside of you who's going to save you either. Yeah, sure, they'll show up and there'll be them conditions. Everyone that is unaware of who they are in their inner power cannot get through the hardest challenges in life. And there's some doozies, all right? Well, I get them. But, and there's a lot of stuff saying, you're chosen, you're chosen. Yeah, I was chosen. I was chosen at birth to be this gift and embody this light and this unconditional love. But most people, yeah, you're real good job. The shit I'm talking about. Anyway, go on. This is what I'm talking about. All right. So, yeah, pay attention. Red flags are all around you. I know you want to sit and have hope and wait for someone to change or get better. We're talking about relationships. It takes two, not one. So you could be the one that is aware, that does hold compassion for everybody and carries all the weight and the burdens by yourself. They're pretty hard lessons that you learn. You're probably at life path number 5. So mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, I'm here for you. Um, Everybody's story is going to be different. This is really painful. It's still dealing with it. We ain't even had the funeral yet, and it's hard. Even being a medium, man, she'd be over here rapping in my ear and shit. And we did this stuff while she was here. We had fun with that. She believed in it. Um, yeah. So loss, processed emotions. Don't stuff them down, because it's just you're gonna resent it later, and then the resentment's gonna bring up something and kill you. Uh, just process it. Whatever it is for you. But she had true love. Maybe not in herself. She didn't see that. She didn't feel that. But she was beautiful. Beautiful soul. Um, yeah. Sorry about the interruption. Dog barking. Um, I'm channeling from my house where other people reside. So just going with it. Um, every day there's a new lesson brought to you, a new challenge, so to speak. Um, what I deal with mostly is the self. And then there's like this invisible thing that happens behind the scenes just from reflecting, just becoming more aware and shifting your perspective, because we're always shifting. When you make a decision, you don't feel like you're physically moving. Some of you might. If you can really feel everything every day of everybody else, you might not have chose it. I chose it. I chose it because of the environment that I grew up in. Was my main teacher. And I noticed right away in this environment, it didn't feel right. The feeling was off to me. And here I am, I'm chosen to come in, unconditional love. I'm this kid, you know, experiencing feelings, witnessing things, hearing things that I probably should have never witnessed or heard. The feelings couldn't do much with because I didn't really have anyone to um, show me what to do with those feelings. And once that happens, like at 40 years old, you're trying to process other feelings. You're still working on the childhood feelings. You ain't even processed yet. I mean, that's what the wounded healer journey is about. And they weren't even yours. Okay, that's the thing. You just didn't know, or you weren't taught how to process it. The anger, um, the fear, okay? Rational fear, even. Um, then you start to be afraid of everything. Okay? Um, yeah. So, I don't know about you, but I had some good tea. Should have told you to bring something good to drink. Um, yeah. So, yeah, I'm pretty wise, and I couldn't do anything. So, it's definitely a job for the self. And this is something I already knew. That's why I took the middle path, the path that, I don't know, probably not many people would take. Um, Definitely had to make some sacrifices. And when I say sacrifice, it wasn't really like I sacrificed something. um, well, kind of did. Um, that'll be for another video, I think. Well, we sit here and we process any emotions that might come up for you right now in loss or shame, regret, resentment. Because what I learned in my own discovery is as long as I'm holding on to this stuff, it's a dense energy. Although the dense energy, we're already in a dense reality, and our soul is trying to uh, bring this awareness, this new perspective that is just dense energy. I mean, you don't gotta go and get put on medication. We need to check within first. You need to trust your pain body if it's not already there or been a diagnosis. Okay, not a doctor, I'm an energy channel. Difference. I learned how mind body connection, it brings that awareness to the surface of, and this is intentional and conscious and deliberate, um, that will reveal to me what I need to process. Is it in the emotional body of energy? Is it in the mental body of energy? Is it in the spiritual body of energy? You know, sometimes being a medium, I build my own bridge to spirit, and we have boundaries and stuff, and you know, this, that, and the other. I find myself sometimes more in the spiritual realm, so to speak, than I am physical. And we can't forget that we're both. And I did that. I did that. And that's like, I just didn't want to, I guess, face reality. I didn't want to face any more of that pain and um, And for a lot of years, like my niece, you know, hid in the dark and cried every tear alone and never shared anything. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. This is a safe place for you and absolutely judgmental free. um, I want to hear your stories. I'm not here to take anything, I'm here to give. I'm here to give back in wisdom. It's, oh, yeah, I know this is how I wanted to start the video, but still processing the loss. But every soul, if you are here in this human experience, okay, in human form, I don't care if you're masculine, feminine, take what resonates. Your soul came with a blueprint. Your soul came with a blueprint, and it is through the pain body. So it only takes one person in everyone's family. You know who you are. You know, the one that chooses, who is it? It's either the third child. No, it's the last child. Let's say the fourth child out of four. Um, you actually get a choice to choose how you want to live your life. Okay. Because I'm the fourth child. I mean, any one of my siblings could have did it, but they didn't. It was me. I said, me. I was just really in love with the invisible realm in the unknown space. I have no idea why. It was just this knowing that, wow, there's a reason that I want to know more about that. And today, now I know so much. Every aspect of me has something of value. Um, yeah. So, with that being said, um, let me see if there's anything else. So, yeah, you came with a blueprint. If you want to figure out what that is, um, we don't even have to give the pain a name anymore. I created mine a little different, and I find it works just fine to not relive any experiences. Just a quick review, done, and on we go. Um, I love to teach about presence, being really fully present and in this moment, because, like I said, being a medium and building that bridge and boundaries, it felt better to be always up there in the higher chakra space than down here. So it's about being present and feeling your space and knowing your surroundings. Okay. It's about being able to hear the subtle voice that tells you you need to leave this relationship. You need to leave this job. It's okay. It's safe to love. It's safe to give and receive love. There's a subtle voice. There's this, I'm just gonna say God voice, because you're God in action. So the inspired action, this inspired voice, this empowered voice, this buzz in your vibration, that source saying, I've been showing you. Now it's time to hear the message. We don't just feel, we can actually hear it. Um, so there's just like every aspect of me. The shadow aspects, I have no issue reflecting now because I don't resent or regret my past. I learned from it and I transformed from it and I ascended into the light from it instead of descending. And believe me, I have my days. I have my days when I react and I respond, and there's very few people that can do that to me because I'm very disciplined, mentally, emotionally, and I know that everything I see is not my truth. It's actually a reflection of what I already healed and let go of. And it happens in cycles. It doesn't happen overnight. Um, yeah, long-winded. So signs, synchronicities, your higher self, your God self, your oversoul, you name it, always signaling you to want more, to be more, to become who you believed you could be once before, you know, you decided to listen to what other people say versus what you already knew, but you didn't really believe it. Um, that you have to know this. It's so hard for me right now. Like being a medium, processing these emotions with the passing of my niece, um, and being able to explain to you that life and death are all the same and we're not separate. Just because, um, I want to say, um, there's a way that you have experienced some kind of loss, right? Some kind. Maybe you haven't processed that emotion. It's still there. There's dense energy there. And it's going to keep reflecting outside in reality until you deal with it. So here's the thing, what you resist on either letting go of, moving forward, right? What you resist persists, right? So if you want divine perfect health and you are resisting, um, like what kind of health do we want to use? Like whatever, mental health, all right? We're using mental health and you don't go seek therapy or you don't reflect on, are these my thoughts? I mean, you can ask yourself questions and be like, where did that thought even come from? I wasn't thinking that. Because as energy, what you're unaware of, it's all around us. And you could be very empathic and pick up somebody else's energy, feelings, and emotions that they haven't processed, or even thoughts, because your thoughts are not safe. The mental universe. It has to come back around one way or another. Um, Cause and an effect, right? It's the law. There's spiritual laws, there's physical laws. We are meant to process both, merge the worlds, and know that we're one, know that we're loved, supported, guided, and always, always inspired, by the way. Depression is not a bad thing. Okay. It is an awakening if you see it that way. If you are aware that this depression, who does it come from? I just had like this flashback. Like, I've told everybody, like, one day my mom was in bed, she was looking at a photograph, and I personally, I didn't know I was this empathic. So all of a sudden I started feeling really depressed, and then I seen a picture, first picture ever, of my own grandfather in the casket with the flowers and all this. Everybody says that's kind of morbid, however you say it. And that's how I met him. Okay. But she was depressed. And I had that moment. Like, I remember when that was her midlife crisis and missing loved ones and loss and regret. I felt it all in that moment, and I did not know what to do with it. She didn't know what to tell me to do with it, obviously. But the point is, that's what's going on right now, even in the world with, we have psychic children. You can call them psychic children, you can call them autism. Okay. They feel deeply. There's different ranges, um, levels and layers of emotions that are all over the place. Okay. When I'm all over the place, because like I work with planetary energy, I feel scatterbrained, or I feel heaviness. I get headaches. I'm like, okay, it's only going to get louder and harder and hurt more if I don't channel this energy. So that's what I do. Planetary. And I don't have to anymore. It's a lot easier. Because I learn more about my process, and there ain't like one process. It's just, you know, I feel it, I integrate it. Okay, ask questions. Is this mine? Is it planetary? Is it someone, my environment? Da 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 da. Is this coming from outside source? Is it coming from me? There's a lot to learn. Okay, lots to learn about energy. And like, here's another thing. I guess I'm just going on a rampant tonight. Another thing is anger, right? We talked about depression. It leads you in a new direction. It tells you, man, I'm not really happy with where I'm at, who I'm with, what I'm doing. That's what depression is there for. Think it. And then get your ass up and make a new decision. That's how you say it. But okay, anger, redirection. Put it in your own place, in your own challenge, where your trauma is. If you have trauma, everybody does. And I am so grateful for you, not because you're carrying trauma or that you experience loss, but I can sit here today and I can say that all my pain and betrayal that was experienced was a blessing because it changed me. And I accepted that change. And change is flexible with me. I mean, I don't wake up in fear every day anymore. Um, I don't worry about the tree falling on the house. I don't have to because I go to bed with a set intention and focused energy in a planned day. I start my day with unconditional love, grace, vibrant energy, and I direct that energy where I want to go. So, unless I redirect that in a different way, like I got another example, this is funny. I was door dashing, right? And I'm not one that complains a lot, it's the human in me. But I was door dashing and the money is circulating and I'm all excited because the more excited you get, better it circulates, right? And more gratitude, appreciation, the more it's flowing. Well, I got tricked. Because in DoorDash, you can see the mileage and the price that you're getting for the offer or whatnot, or the trip. And I didn't look at that. I was going to say it was my last one. And I just took it and I ended up driving. Where was I? I was in Midland to Beaverton. I was bitching and fucking complaining to Spirit, so pissed off. Well, I got another one. It was just as long. So don't complain. Find all the good, even if it looks not good. Because the complaining and the worry is exactly what's going to bring you more to complain about and more to worry about. So resist complaining, right? And watch everything go in your favor. It's just how it works. But I had to tell you that experience. And funny, spirit is funny, right? Spirit can be funny. But I would not change one single moment of my life, of my challenges, the depression, the anger. It all taught me that it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary to worry, about everything. You don't wake up worrying about what next to worry about. It's like, and here's another aspect of the new version. Everything you speak, okay, that is the law. Speak highly of yourself. Not as like, oh, look at me, I'm better than you. No, not from ego, not from arrogance or ignorance. Just to yourself. You and you. Even if you're alone. Because it's only you complaining at you. So, and then the inner dialogue. Oh boy. All right. I don't want to go too long. We're almost an hour. So, scratch the inner dialogue. That'll be the next one. But I love you guys. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to be strong. I'm going to tell you you are stronger than you know. Okay? You are so much stronger than you know. You need to live the impossible. Everything that you believe was impossible is possible. Okay. You just haven't got a clue. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there. I love you guys. Thanks. Like, share, subscribe if you want to. Don't have to. Like I said, I'm not here to gain a thing. I'm here to give you valuable wisdom. Bye for now.